the effectiveness of Manipur police, in particularly the Kuki-dominated areas, is a question mark. That has been the problem right from the beginning. Now, as far as the Assam Rifle is concerned, I feel that there is this narrative is being driven continuously by some vested interest who have been trying to portray the Assam Rifle as being biased and favoring the cookies, which is absolutely not true. Because right from the beginning of the conflict, I feel, and I can say very, very emphatically that Assam Rifle has been absolutely unbiased, and they have acted in a very, very professional manner under extremely challenging environment and under great provocations, which happened in certain situations.
Hello and welcome to a special interview for The Wire. As violence once again erupts in Manipur after 3 months of a tense and fragile calm, we ask, why is it taking so long for the Indian state to resolve the situation? And secondly, have the Indian Army and the Assam Rifles got credit for the important role they've played over the last 17 months? Those are two key issues I shall discuss today with the former Army Commander, Eastern Command, Lieutenant General Rana Pratap Kalita. General Kalita, in 2 weeks' time, the crisis in Manipur will be 17 months old. As a former Army Commander, Eastern Command, why do you believe it's dragged on for so long? Or to put it differently, why has the Indian state failed to resolve the situation?
Firstly, like everybody has been saying, the situation in Manipur actually is very, very complex. If you look back, when the conflict broke out in May 2023, initial focus at that time of the security forces, including the state, was to control the initial violence because a lot of killings and arson had taken place at that point of time. And a lot of efforts were diverted or directed towards evacuating those displaced people to safer areas so that they could move into the relief camps. So initially, the situation was brought under control. Thereafter, we have been seeing in last 17 months cycles of violence interspersed with periods of very, very fragile peace in between. So I would describe 3-4 reasons for this recurrence of violence. Firstly, the continuing mistrust between the two communities, that is between the Kukis and Métis, there has been no headway in coming to some sort of a middle ground as far as the trust deficit is concerned. The second thing is the continued easy availability of weapons and warlike stores, which we see even now. And the third thing is there is a sustained, misinformation campaign by social media manipulation, as also spread of messages of fake messages, fake news, to mobilize, support, to drum up emotional support, to make people emotional. So, and plus also, the situation has panned out in a manner that the extremist elements within the both communities have gained an upper hand. So these are the reasons I described that towards the continued violence.
But General Kalita, 17 months is a very long time for this situation to continue. Is it because not enough and not effective steps have been taken?
No, I don't agree with that. The state as well as the center, as also the security forces that are present there, they have been trying their best. A number of steps have been taken. And the center as well as state have also made attempts to engage both the communities so that some sort of dialogue, because ultimately the solution has to be through a dialogue between the two communities involved. So unless till the time the dialogue takes place, we don't see any permanent resolution of the problem. So both sides are being engaged. So far, we have not seen any movement towards this, but I'm hopeful that things will return to normalcy.
Let's talk a little about the situation that prevails in September. After 3 or 4 months of relative but tense calm, Violence once again flared up on the 1st of September, and it seems to have continued every second, third day right through this month. There was violence again, for example, on Tuesday evening. This time, there are reports that Kuki insurgents have breached the Sioux agreement and are said to be fueling the violence. On the 8th of September, at Jiribam, according to the Hindustan Times, the bodies of 3 militants from the Kuki Liberation Army, which is a member of the Kuki National Organization, were allegedly found. The Kukis, however, deny this. They say these are village defense volunteers, not insurgents. What do you believe is the truth?
You see, I have very strong reasons to believe that right from beginning of the conflict, insurgents from both the communities got involved in the fighting. That we have seen right from the beginning. In fact, if you look back, prior to 3rd of May 2023, there are a lot of peace and developmental activities that were taking place in Manipur. In 2022, Indian Army had conducted Duranka very successfully, which was very well subscribed by the common people there. There were APSPA were removed from 19 of the police stations. There's a beauty pageant which took place in April 2023. So all the build-up to 2023 was in a manner that the insurgent group from all the communities had lost its relevance. But what happened is, this conflict gave them an opportunity to the insurgent group to regain their relevance and to regain their support base. They have tried to project themselves as the protectors of their respective communities, and thereby they have been able to regain their support base. The incidents which were mentioned about Jiribam, where I think 5 to 6 people were dead in the violence, and out of the three, there are 3 bodies reportedly of the Kuki insurgent group, and there is also one body reportedly of UNLF Pambe group, which is a Meitei group. So we continue to see the insurgents of both the communities getting involved right from beginning of the conflict.
But you're saying a very important thing, General Kalita. You're saying right from the beginning of the conflict, i.e., from 17 months ago, insurgents from both communities have been involved, which means that for 17 months or so, the Kukis have been breaching the Sioux terms, and the Meitei insurgents have been breaching whatever terms of surrender they've come to the government as well. Both sides have breached their terms.
You see, Meitei insurgents, majority of them have not signed any ceasefire, or they are not in any agreement with the government of India, neither with the Manipur state government. It's only the UNLF Pambe group which had come across and signed a ceasefire. But as far as I remember, I think the formal Sioux agreement are yet to be finalized. However, the Kuki groups were in suspension of operations, but there are some factions of Kuki groups who I believe were not under the Sioux, not covered under the Sioux agreement. So both the sides had got involved right from beginning, and I stand by that statement.
Now, the other development, General Kalita, that's attracted considerable attention is the claim by the Manipur police that rocket-propelled grenades have been fired from high-tech drones. This time, not only the Kukis, but even the former Director General of the Assam Rifles, Lieutenant General Nair, has questioned this claim by the Manipur police. These say that they are improvised, adapted Pumpi guns, not rocket-propelled grenades. Again, what do you believe is the truth? Pumpi guns, rocket-propelled grenades fired from drones?
You see, like I mentioned in the beginning of our conversation, that one of the major reasons for continued violence is easy availability of weapons and other warlike stores to both the communities. So, with passage of time, the situation not improving, there is a definite effort from both the sides to acquire weapons which can cause more destructions or more damage, which are of useful to them. And so there is a continued attempt to get certain new technology weapons. So I also saw the report of drones being used to drop bombs, as also some rocket-propelled grenades being used. Drone is easily available now commercially off the shelf, which can be modified suitably to put some small warlike stores, some bombs or some grenades to be dropped. As also rocket-propelled grenades are also easily available now. But what I'd like to say is it is not the type of weapon that is being used which is of importance. It's easily available and they are using different types of weapons. But it is that ease of availability of these weapons and the intent to use them to perpetrate violence. I think these are the two things which we need to address and not look merely at the type of weapons that are being used by both the sides.
But if I understand your answer correctly, General Kalita, you don't share General Nair's skepticism. He was skeptical that rocket propelled grenades or drones have been used. He said that these were pumpy guns, more likely. You don't share that skepticism.
I'm not very sure about this because there has been continued report that these are being used. But Pompey guns, of course, both sides have been using it right from beginning. These are modified, mortars which are being used by both the sides right from the beginning of the conflict. So there are reported to be used like the rocket propelled grenades and all. We have to see it on ground to verify it correctly.
Now, one of the key problems in Manipur is the way the security forces are perceived, both by the Kuki as well as by the Meitei community. The Kukis distrust the Manipur police, who they believe are biased towards the Meitei. The Meitei distrust the Assam Rifles, who they believe are biased towards the Kuki. How do you, as a former Army Commander, Eastern Command, respond to this characterization?
You see, Cookies believe that the Manipur police is mainly dominated by the majority Meitei community. So right from the beginning of the conflict, they have their reservations and their apprehensions about the way the Manipur police has functioned, and they have expressed it very, very openly, like you had mentioned. And that has been a problem because the effectiveness of Manipur police, in particularly the Kuki-dominated areas, is a question mark. That has been the problem right from the beginning. Now, as far as the Assam Rifle is concerned, I feel that this narrative is being driven continuously by some vested interest who have been trying to portray the Assam Rifle as being biased and favoring the cookies, which is absolutely not true. Because right from the beginning of the conflict, I feel, and I can say very, very emphatically that Assam Rifle has been absolutely unbiased and they have acted in a very, very professional manner under extremely challenging environment and under great provocations, which happened in certain situations. And in fact, I would like to go back and ask a question. Who saved the Meitei population when they were threatened in Churachandpur and More? It was Assam Rifle who provided them safety and escorted this Meitei population from Churachandpur and More, which are Kuki-dominated areas, into safer areas. So how do justify then that they are favoring Kukis and they are against Meiteis?
You said two very important things, General Kalita. You said that the Assam Rifles have been absolutely unbiased in their performance, extremely professional in their duty. I take it, therefore, you very strongly disagree with the demand made by MLA R.K. Emo Singh, who also happens to be Chief Minister Biren Singh's son-in-law. He has sent a letter to the Home Minister, Mr. Amit Shah, demanding that all 60,000 central forces in Manipur be withdrawn. And in particular, as you know, the Mira Paibi have been demanding that the Assam Rifles are withdrawn. They've been actually hindering the performance of the Assam Rifles. You disagree with both R.K. Emo Singh and the Mira Paibi?
Actually, these emotions are being driven by certain fake news that we have seen right from beginning of the conflict. Like I had said, social media manipulation and fake news, that has been one of the major factors which have been contributing to the continued cycles of violence. So that narrative is being driven by, I have said that this narrative is being continuously being driven by people with vested interest who doesn't want the normalcy to return and who wants these central forces, 60,000 central forces like you had mentioned, out from Manipur because they are the ones who are absolutely operating in a very, very unbiased manner and trying to maintain peace and trying to ensure return of normalcy.
So the claim or the narrative that the Assam Rifles are biased against the Meitei is false. It's based on fake news. It is untrue.
Absolutely. I stand by that.
Now, in an interview that you gave the Times of India on the 17th, you spoke specifically about what you called the polarization of the Manipur police. You called it a challenge, and you said, I'm quoting, this polarization probably is inhibiting the functioning of central forces. Can you explain in what way is the polarization inhibiting the functioning of central forces?
You see, when in such a conflict situation, when the central forces, be it CAPF or the Army or the Assam Rifle, whenever we are called upon to help this, assist the state police for maintaining law and order and to control violence, so the central forces are largely dependent on the state police, not only for administration, but they are also dependent on intelligence as also guidance for carrying out various operations. So in this particular case, in case of Manipur, what had happened was when the conflict broke out, even the police personnel of both the communities were being targeted. So they also left some of them had left their respective posts. And so they concentrated on their areas which are dominated by their respective communities. So in certain areas, there was total absence of the police forces. So the central forces had to operate on their own. So in the initial stages, these were very, very challenging situation. But thereafter, gradually, I think the police hierarchy got involved and they regained their command and control. And slowly the situation had started improving. But definitely this had an impact on the functioning of the central forces.
So, what you're saying, General Kalita, is that either the ineffectiveness at times of the Manipur police or the failure of the Manipur police to effectively function has in turn affected the functioning of the central forces.
Yeah, sort of. Initial stages, like I had said, that because the effectiveness of the police was not there in the initial when the conflict had broken out at that point of time. But things had improved substantially thereafter. And now things are quite streamlined, and I don't see any problem taking place presently.
Hi, I'm Karan Thapar. Over the last few years, I hope you've been watching my program, The Interview on the Wire. During that period, I've interviewed doctors, politicians, businessmen, scientists, authors, and even the occasional Nobel laureate. For me, it's been exciting. I hope it's been enjoyable for you. But these, as you know, are tough times, and if this program is going to remain bold, independent, and sometimes even defiant, then I think we need your support. At the end of the day, it's a truism, but editorial independence is best defended by the viewers. So if you would like this program to remain the way it is, forthright, outspoken, and interesting, then would you consider supporting us? All you have to do is to click on the description at the bottom. But more than anything else, I hope you will continue to watch the interview. Your viewership means an awful lot to me.
Let's at this point, General Kalita, come to what I call the second part of this interview that I'm doing with you. In a recent interview to The Hindu, the former Director General of the Assam Rifles, Lieutenant General Nair, has spoken of two aspects of the Army and the Assam Rifles' performance in Manipur that hasn't got the attention it deserves, and it certainly hasn't got the credit it deserves. I would like to touch on both of those one by one with you. First, General Nair says that the Assam Rifles and the Army had kept troops on standby even before the 3rd of May 2023, because when they had received inputs that violence and tension was in the atmosphere and they were worried that there could be violence. As a result of keeping troops on standby before the 3rd, General Nair says, and I'm quoting him, we saved nothing less than 2,000, 3,000 lives between May 3rd and May 5th. During that period, you were Army Commander, Eastern Command, and Manipur comes under your direct control. Can you tell me more about how the Army prepared itself in advance and thus saved up to 2,000, 3,000 lives?
See, I had been personally involved in Northeast for many years now. Firstly, I belong to Northeast, and I have had experience in serving in various areas of Northeast, including Manipur and Nagaland earlier, before I took over as the GOC in Sea of Eastern Command. So I have a comprehensive understanding of the situation in Northeast. And I always felt, and I was convinced in my mind, that Manipur was the most challenging environment, I think, under which we have to operate, because it is a there are a lot of complexities which are involved in Manipur as a state. There are a lot of issues. Firstly, the mistrust between the three communities, Naga, Kukis, and Meiteis. We are aware that in early 90s, there was a clash between Nagas and Kukis, which led to killing of thousands of people and displacement of a number of people from both the sides. And as also, there are a lot of contentious issues like demand for NRC, the demand for the scheduled tribe status for the Meiteis, the possible impact any Naga possible peace accord could have on the integrity of Manipur, because we all know that NSCNM leadership comes from Ukhrul district from Manipur, which is as per their demand, part of their demanded Greater Nagaland. Then illegal poppy cultivation, that has been an issue. Abrogation of SU by the Manipur state government unilaterally in March 23 that happened. These were things were building up in Manipur. So, though we are not directly involved in a lot of things, and law and order was with the state, except in the AFSPA prevalent districts where the Assam Rifle was carrying out the counterinsurgency operations. But because of the developments in Manipur, we are monitoring the situation, of course, in concert with the other central agencies, as also with the state government. So when in the build-up to 3rd of May, there are certain minor incidents which had taken place. So we are cognizant of those incidents, and we're in touch with the, like I said, Manipur Honorable Chief Minister, the DGP, and the other intelligence agencies as well. So we are able to react when the conflict broke out in a very, very swift manner. And what helped us was the domain knowledge which the Assam Rifle had. Assam Rifle had been deployed there for many years now. And their knowledge about the geography, the terrain, and the people, the demography is tremendous. So we are able to identify the potential flashpoints in advance. So the moment the conflict broke out and we were given a green signal, we could rush to those potential flashpoints to prevent any sort of spread of violence to those areas, and thereby saving many lives, like the DGR has mentioned.
So you're confirming, as the former DG Assam Rifles said to the Hindu, you're confirming that troops had been kept on standby even before May 3rd, 2023, because of your fear that there could be violence, there could be trouble. And as a result of your being prepared and ready, you saved something like 2,000 to 3,000 lives. That's a very large number of lives, 2,000, 3,000. But you're confirming that.
We can't put a figure on that. I would not like to put any number on that, but definitely we're able to save numerous lives. That definitely is there because of the proactive action which were taken by us.
So numerous lives were saved because of the preventive action taken by the Army and the Assam Rifles before 3rd May, before the troubles broke out. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Now, Lieutenant General Nair has also told the Hindu that on May 3rd, 2023, the violence erupted around 2:30 p.m., but the state government only requisitioned the Assam Rifles at 8:30 p.m. As he put it, and I'm quoting him, the Inspector General Assam Rifles was at the Chief Minister's office at 3:30 p.m., yet we waited for requisition, which came at 8:30 p.m. The suggestion is that the civil authorities delayed the requisition. Is that the case as you remember it?
See, I would not say they delayed the requisition, because when the initial conflict broke out, any conflict which breaks out, it is very difficult to predict what direction it is likely to take. And initially, any such conflict breaking out like the manner in which it did in Manipur, the first respondent is the state police, obviously, because law and order is a state subject, and they are the first respondent towards any such situation. So I believe that the delay which took place was because the Manipur state and the police probably thought that they would be able to control the violence or the conflict that is breaking out. But the moment they realized the extent to which the violence has spread and it was going beyond their control, the situation was handed over to us and we were called to assist, and immediately we reacted because we were already prepared. So I don't think it was a willful delay of that decision. It's a procedural things because of which I think we went in after about 4 or 5 hours after the conflict had broken out.
Not a willful delay, but nonetheless, there was a 4 or 5 hour gap between the violence breaking out and the Assam Rifles or the army coming in to control the situation. Was that 4 or 5 hour gap critical?
So that time is required to assess the situation. At the moment the conflict breaks out, you can't call in the police or you can't call in the Assam Rifle or the army. In that case, in all situations, in the first round being fired, people will start calling the army, which is not recommended. But the moment they realize that the situation is going out of control and Manipur police is not in a state to control the violence, immediately we were given the green signal and we went ahead. I think I would put it that way.
So this wasn't an unnecessary or avoidable delay?
No, yeah, I agree. I would like to conform to that.
Finally, Lieutenant General Nair says, and I'm quoting him, the only serious attempt for a dialogue between the Kuki and Meitei communities was attempted by the Assam Rifles and the Indian Army in June 2023. But this attempt was derailed when the video of 2 women who were stripped and paraded naked went viral. And General Nair adds, I am not sure of any other attempt made by any other organization. Tell me more about this attempt that the Army and the Assam Rifles jointly made to start a dialogue.
I think I had made a mention in the first question itself. Both the center as well as the state has been making efforts to engage with both the communities and facilitate their coming to a dialogue or engagement. So this has been taking place. So what Jan Nair mentioned was one such attempt. Assam Rifle, by virtue of their being present there in Manipur for many years, have got excellent rapport with all the communities and the people. So a lot of people trust the Assam Rifle. So they wanted to facilitate a dialogue between the two communities and various leaders of both the communities. And a lot of engagements had taken place. In fact, in some of the times, even I personally had engaged with the civil societies of both the communities and trying to facilitate or offered to facilitate a dialogue between both the communities. However, the moment we reach, we make some progress, some violent incident initiated by somebody, one of the two communities, takes us back again. So it was like number of times it had happened that we thought that we had made substantial progress, but then some violent activity or some killings would take us back again. And the hard stance of both the communities gets hardened again. So this has been a repeated, I believe, number of such attempts, I would say.
You're talking of a number of such attempts at dialogue. You called this one one such attempt. But General Nair specifically says, and I'm quoting him, I am not sure of any other attempt made by any other organization. He's saying that this was the only attempt and it was only made by the Army and the Assam Rifles. It wasn't just one such attempt out of many attempts.
No, I am conscious of a number of people getting involved and a lot of efforts both by the state as well as center to get both communities to the negotiating table. And I would stand by that.
So there were multiple attempts, including attempts made by the civilian government.
Yeah, that's right. That's true.
Now, one confusion that persists today, and you talked about it briefly in the interview you gave the Times of India on the 17th, is the question, who heads the unified command in Manipur? Is it the security advisor who heads the command in name, or is it the chief minister who can call a meeting whenever he wants and also chair that meeting? Which of the two is actually in effective control of the unified command?
See, Manipur has been having unified command since 1997. So the initial notification of 1997 on unified command legislated the chief secretary heading the unified command. He was the chairperson of the strategy group. And then thereafter, the second notification came, I think, in 2004 or 2008, wherein the chief minister was made the chairperson of the combined headquarters, which is basically the policy formulation at the strategic level. The May 2023 notification, which was issued after the conflict broke out, because Biden had appointed the security advisor as the chairperson of the combined headquarters, which is the apex level of the unified headquarters. Now, because by that time, immediately after the conflict broke out, a security advisor was appointed to the government of Manipur. But the paragraph 5 of that notification states that the chief minister can call for a meeting of the unified headquarters, and whenever he calls for a meeting, he will chair that meeting. That's the authority given to him. Whenever he wants, he feels there is a necessity, he can call for a meeting of the combined headquarters, and then thereafter he chairs the meeting. But if you see, otherwise, as per the notification, whenever the security advisor heads, along with him, we have the chief secretary, the DGP, and the other representatives of various stakeholders, including the Central Security Forces and the intelligence agencies. And the security advisor is appointed as the advisor to the government of Manipur. So he's basically government. He's the security advisor to the government of Manipur, and he's assisted by the chief secretary
May I interrupt you, Nasab?
Yeah.
Your own answer is making it very clear that there is confusion in that order. On the one hand,
there is no confusion in that order, because the law and order remains a state subject, and the government of Manipur is responsible for maintaining the law and order, and assisted by the Central Security Forces,
but the question
Assam
is,
Rifles, and the Army.
at different times, either the chief minister or the security advisor are empowered to head the body. The chief minister can call a meeting when he wants and chair the meeting, yet otherwise the security advisor is the head of the unified command. It looks like a confusion to most people.
No, you see, there is no confusion. Security advisor is what? Security advisor is to the government of Manipur. He is an advisor to the government of Manipur. Government of Manipur consists of the state assembly or state legislature or the state or the cabinet. So he is an advisor to the government of Manipur. So if he is heading, that means it is the government of Manipur which is heading the unified command.
But normally it is the chief minister who heads the unified command. In this instance, it's the security advisor. And yet, despite the fact the security advisor heads the unified command, the chief minister, under para 5, as you said yourself, has the authority to call a meeting when he wants, and he will then chair that meeting. It's clearly confusion.
No, I don't think there is any confusion, because security advisor, whatever decisions are taken, as his advisor to the government of Manipur, by implications, he would have discussed these issues with the state chief minister or the state cabinet or the other authorities before the decisions are arrived at. In any case, the unified headquarters are basically a coordinating mechanism to achieve synergy in operations when multiple stakeholders are involved in maintaining law and order.
But General Kalita, this is clearly a situation that the civilians in the Manipur government are not satisfied and happy with. Both R.K. Imo Singh and Biren Singh have separately demanded that the control and headship of the unified command be given to the chief minister. They clearly don't like this situation.
As per my understanding, the present notification also gives them the ownership of the unified headquarters. I don't think there is any confusion at all.
All right. We let the audience decide for themselves whether this dispersal of headship is confusion or whether it makes for amicable, sensible relations. Finally, General Kalita, the first necessary step to finding a solution is the immediate control of violence. Until the violence stops, talks are not going to start. In the interview you gave the Times of India, you said the immediate control of violence requires some strong military action. What sort of measures do you have in mind?
You see, firstly, we need to seal the Indo-Myanmar border completely. That has been stated a number of times by various people, including the Honorable Home Minister as well. I think that is the first step we need to take. It has its challenges, but we need to overcome those challenges and ensure that the Indo-Myanmar border is completely sealed. In addition to that, we also need to launch intelligence-based operations to ensure that the weapons and the warlike stores which are available with the society, available with the common people, must be removed. We must target to recover those weapons so that the society becomes demilitarized. That is something which we need to achieve. We also need to take strong measures to ensure that free movement of armed miscreants is prevented within the state of Manipur. And we also need to look at, identifying various, ringleaders who are spreading this problem and who are creating troubles, and they must be taken out from the system. These are the military measures I would suggest to be taken immediately.
Tell me this, General Kalita, 17 months have passed. Why have more effective measures not been taken to get back the arms that were looted? 17 months is a very long time not to have been able to do it. And secondly, why have effective measures not been taken to ensure free movement of forces? Again, 17 months is a very long time not to do it.
This has been done continuously. It is not, I'm not saying that this has not been done, but I think the scope needs to be increased to ensure that more number of areas are covered, and they are done for which larger number of troops would be required. And I think
forgive me
that
interrupting. Is something holding back either the army or the Assam Rifles? Are you being restrained in doing these things?
No, that is not true. That is not true because there is nothing restraining the armed forces, because armed forces and the Assam Rifle have been given a free hand to operate. Though there are certain challenges because at times, like you had mentioned earlier, the Mira babies and the other people come across and then they try and stop certain genuine operations that are being conducted in those areas. Those sort of challenges are there, but they are being addressed by the troops on ground. But steps are being taken, but I think we need to enhance the scope of those steps which are being taken till now.
Are you getting the requisite amount of support from the civilian government in Imphal?
Yes, I think the coordination mechanism has been working. When I was in office, we used to very frequently meet the chief minister as well as the DGP and the chief secretary, and we used to sit down together to work out a roadmap towards which we had to work.
My very last question. The real challenge after the immediate control of violence has been achieved, the real challenge will be to get the two sides, the Kuki and the Maite, to start talking to each other. Do we need the central government, the Home Minister himself, or the Prime Minister even, to step in?
I think to get the both communities talking, the first thing that is required to be done is confidence building between the both communities. So that can be done by addressing various genuine grievances which both communities have, and towards that there is definite involvement of the central government. I would not like to name any personalities or the appointment who have to get involved. It is the central government and in concert with the state government who need to address the genuine grievances and build confidence between both the communities so that a conversation can begin between the Kukis and the Meiteis to resolve the problems permanently.
Let's not take names. Let's not identify people by position, but you're saying the initiative must be taken by the central government.
initiative has already been taken. I'm conscious that there has been a lot of effort, a lot of initiative that has been taken by the central government.
Absolutely nothing. If there's been
No,
a lot of effort, I should point out it's achieved absolutely nothing.
The stance of both the communities had hardened because of the way things have panned out. So it cannot be achieved in a day or a month or 2 months.
17 months, General Saab, not a day or a month.
It requires a lot of patience to deal with such situations, and there are a lot of grievances which people have. It will take some time to address those grievances, so that they have confidence in the system, and then they come around to talk to each other.
But you do believe that the central government needs to be more actively involved?
All of us need to be more actively involved. It is not only the central government. I think all of us, including the media and the common people, have a role to play in facilitating dialogue between both the communities.
General Saab, you're a diplomat, and I applaud you for that quality. Thank you very much for the time you've given me. Thank you very much for sharing with us your knowledge of what happened in Imphal and Manipur, particularly around the 3rd of May 2023, when, as you said, the Assam Rifles and the Army had prepared themselves to stand by in case there was violence, in case there was trouble. And because they were prepared well in advance of May the 3rd, 2023, numerous lives, as you put it, were saved. I will add that General Nair says between 2,000 and 3,000 lives were saved. Either way, valuable lives were saved because the Army and the Assam Rifles had anticipated there could be trouble and had put themselves on alert in advance. Thank you very much indeed for talking to me. Take care. Stay safe.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Karan Thapar. Over the last few years, I hope you've been watching my program, The Interview on the Wire. During that period, I've interviewed doctors, politicians, businessmen, scientists, authors, and even the occasional Nobel laureate. For me, it's been exciting. I hope it's been enjoyable for you. But these, as you know, are tough times, and if this program is going to remain bold, independent, and sometimes even defiant, then I think we need your support. At the end of the day, it's a truism, but editorial independence is best defended by the viewers. So if you would like this program to remain the way it is, forthright, outspoken, and interesting, then would you consider supporting us? All you have to do is to click on the description at the bottom. But more than anything else, I hope you will continue to watch The Interview. Your viewership means an awful lot to me.